welcome to this tutorial on destructuring in JavaScript. Destructuring is a powerful technique that allows you to extract the values from arrays and objects with ease. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand how to use destructuring to write cleaner and more efficient code. Let's get started. First, let's cover destructuring arrays. Taking array names. The regular way to console log out one of these names. First one would be to use the name of the array with the index. That should give us solid snake, the first one. And then likewise, for everyone after that that you wanted, you would just change the index. Give you the first three. Now with the destructuring, you can assign the values to variables instead using an array pattern. Let's get rid of these. Create a pattern. Character 1, character 2, character 3, then 4. You can name them whatever you want. And you don't even have to name them all. You can put the rest in a new array called using the rest syntax, and just make sure that it is pointed back to the original array, and make sure you've spelled everything right. That should work. And let's test it out. Console log character 1. See what we get here. Solid snake. Great. Let's see if it worked putting the other names inside of the rest variable. Awesome. So yeah, that is how you destructure arrays. Alright, now let's take a look at destructuring objects. Here I have an object with properties. One of those properties is also an array of names, like we looked at earlier with just the array. If we want to retrieve any of these values, we're going to use the dot notation, which is going to be the name of the object, a dot, and then the name of the property. We'll save that, console log game.title. We get Metal Gear. Okay, so instead of doing this, we can now this time destructure that object with the names of the properties. They have to be spelled with an object. They have to be spelled exactly as they are in the object. Okay, let's just leave it at that. We don't have to do all of them. And we will console log title and console log created. We should get Metal Gear and Hideo Kojima. Now, if you wish to, while you're destructuring your property names, you can change those names. So let's say instead of I don't want to have the Hideo Kojima being the property created. Let's say I wanted to change it to creator. Great. Changed the property to creator. Another thing that you can do is, we can drop in characters, the array here, and you can pull out that array, like that. But also, like we did earlier with destructuring the array, we can do that inside of this object. The same way with a colon. And an empty array. And like we did before, we can really just use any names that we want. And I'm going to only pull off the first three. And we're going to come down here and console log out character 2. And we got a gray fox. And like we did earlier, if you wanted to, you could really just if you could just retrieve any of them you wanted, and then afterwards put them all into their own variable, into their own array called rest. So we should be able to console log rest and get all of them except for the first one. Alright. That looks pretty good. We've shown a pretty good example of how you can destructure arrays and now objects, and even destructure the array as it is inside of the object. So that's it for destructuring arrays and objects in JavaScript. Now, to make it make a little bit more sense, to see exactly why and when you would use destructuring, I wanted to show you a little bit bigger of an example. Instead of just one object, we got an array of 8 objects. Okay. And inside of the JavaScript, as before, just as simple, I've destructured each one of those objects: title, type, created, developer, release, image, and characters, and use those variables inside of my JavaScript right here and here and here to dynamically create the elements that I want inside of my index. And this is just an example of what that would look like. Okay, so that's it for my tutorial on array and object destructuring in JavaScript. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Remember, by using destructuring, you can unpack objects and arrays in a much more concise and readable way. And I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And I look forward to seeing you next time.